Hi, the seventh book in the Taranauts series is now out. For those who came in late, Taranauts is a fantasy adventure series for children, probably India's first original fantasy adventure series that runs into this many books. It's an 8-book series and I've been writing it from 2009 onwards, and so it's been 3 years and now the 7th book is out and it's called The Search for the Glitter Turquoises. This particular book, it takes them to the land of glitter. Actually, the whole fantasy adventure series of the Taranauts is set in a completely different universe called Mithya, which has 8 worlds, and they've been to 6 worlds already to rescue the stars, which have been kidnapped by this evil villain called Sharpazur. And now they traveled, in this book they traveled to the land of glitter, which is the on which 4 suns called the turquoises shine, and they've been kidnapped as well, and they're trying to rescue these stars. Now, as in every other Taranauts book, the Taranauts travel there and they have to locate 4 riddles that Sharpazur has hidden on that world. They have to retrieve them from some completely inaccessible location and then crack the riddles. Now, in this book, Sharpazur has kicked the terror up a notch. He's no longer interested in harming the Taranauts. He is going for big time terrorism almost, in the sense he's trying to destroy a lot of Mythiacos and make the Taranauts feel guilty for not having saved them in time, knowing that that would destroy their spirit much more than not being able to crack a riddle. So yeah, so the action goes up a notch. There's no real violence in it, because try not to do that in a children's book, but the suspense and the anxiety definitely has gone up several notches. Yeah. So the Taranauts travel to glitter, and essentially to the capital city of glitter, which is called Boomboli Bay. No prizes for guessing which Indian city it's somewhat modeled on, and there's lots of all the rich people, all the musicians, all the actors, all the who's who of Mithya live in Boomboli Bay, and they are guests of a certain fashion house called Maxmo, which is named after the son of the scion of the fashion house, whose name is Max Moolah. So you can guess that he obviously has a lot of moolah, and the action really hots up towards the end when something terrible happens to Max. And interestingly, in a twist, Max is the name of the fashion company. They also bring out a line of cosmetics and personal hygiene products in Mithya. And Tufan, who's one of our characters, is obsessive about hygiene. He's a young Mythiakin and he's the only boy in the group of 3, obsessive about personal hygiene, bathes several times a day, and every time sprays himself with tons of a deo called Max Deo, which the girls, his teammates find completely repulsive. Its smell and the fact that he uses so much of it. But Max Deo is one of the leading products of Max Moolah's company Maxmo. So that's a little humor in there when he gets appalled that that was the product he was patronizing, because he doesn't like the Moolahs at all, who are like these completely rich tycoons with no morals and complete arrogant tycoons. And there's a lot of fashion houses in Boomboli Bay, as can be expected, and there's a little humor in there as well and a little bit of wordplay, because all these fashion houses in Boomboli Bay, if you take out their names and look at them, they're actually anagrams of very famous Indian designers. Yeah, so now the conundrum is, what am I going to do in the 8th book? Because it's going to be the last book of the series. There are a lot of loose ends to tie up. There are the corals to rescue, because they need to travel to the world of Dazzle and rescue those stars. And there's also a problem, because I think once all the stars, even if all the suns are rescued, Sharpazur is not going to give up without a fight. So, he's been threatening that there will be a great Zamara, the great final combat between good and evil, between him and his stepbrother, between him and his twin brother. So, I'm not sure how I'm going to get all those elements into the 8th book and make it end satisfactorily for a lot of Taranauts fans who have discovered now, who are eagerly waiting and sending me suggestions left, right and center, saying maybe you should do this, maybe there should be a 9th book, maybe just reserved for the Great War. And how can you get all of that into the 8th book? No, we want a fat 8th book. So all these suggestions have been coming in, and I've always been open to taking suggestions from readers and crediting them for whatever suggestions in the book. So let's see, I have to go back home to Bangalore now and think about it and decide how I'm going to end the book, and I don't know, we'll see.